For today's class, we will be looking out into Vray objects. Okay, and in this, we will basically look into infinity plane, proxy, and fur. Don't worry, proxy. I'll tell what it is. I'll tell what are the things that it does and stuffs. We will go to the SketchUp screen now, and then as in the we have already completed Vray lights. Okay, now we have to go to Vray objects. First of all, I am opening the asset editor. I am doing the required adjustments, like I'm just changing the render engine to Cuba, then selecting both my graphics card, and also changing the mode to interactive rather than the progressive. Then coming to render outputs, I am selecting the save frame, keeping it on, and then making sure that this is less than 1000 so as to create my render easily. Fine. This much is the primary settings that is to be done, and that is being done. Second, now I am going to apply the infinity plane. So what infinity plane does is that if you want to have for example, if you want to give a plot, okay, and now so normally what we use the rectangle tool and then just give a rectangle surface so as to create a plane. But if you want to have something like a large acre of lands are there, or you want to give some sort of material to the ground that is available out here, then what we normally use is that we normally in Vray there is an option called uh, infinity plane. So once you click it, something like this will get shown. Okay, just select it and keep it on the origin. Okay, once you click it, you can see something like this comes up. Press spacebar so as to get escaped from the infinity plane. Okay, now if I give the render, you can see what happens. Okay, now you can see that a plane of infinite level is being applied. Okay, that is what the infinity plane does. You can add material as well to this infinity plane. So how that could be done is that if you are using an older version of Vray, you can see that this is now a wireframe. Okay, this is a wireframe structure. Now if you are using a lower version of Vray, you would be getting this as a solid one. Okay, then you can directly apply the material onto it and then the material applies. If you are using a higher version of Vray like mine and above, okay, Vray 4, 5 and above, if you use, you will see that this will be a wireframe structure. So what you need to do is select this, go here, enable a solid widget, then you will see that this becomes a solid surface. Okay, onto this solid surface, with the help of paint bucket tool, you can apply the material. Now I am just applying a grass material onto it. Okay, now if I give the test render, you can see that you will get a plane that is of infinite positioning with the grass material onto it. So this is what infinite plane does to your render. Okay, so this is helpful for creating planes that are in any planes which is you require a infinite amount. Okay, so so that's what infinite plane does. Next, let us go to the second object of Vray object. So before that, any doubts for infinity planes?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. Then we will go on to something called proxy. Okay, if you are an architecture student, most of you must have heard this term proxy. Normally, we does this for attendance. Okay, in the classes. So this terminology proxy is being evolved from our render engines only. This terminology means that if you take into your class into account, your friend, you are absent in the class, but you normally get the attendance with the help of your friends. So that is what a proxy is. Similarly, in Vray also, proxy does the same thing. That is, in the model you don't have the substance, but in the render you have it. Okay, that is what is proxy. So what is the use of this proxy is that it basically helps us in reducing the size of the file. Okay, normally if you have a tree, I'm just deleting this infinity plane, just deleting it from here. Also I'm just deleting it. Okay, from the set. Okay, fine. So if you know that normally we have a tree, this is a model that is being taken from the SketchUp warehouse. Okay, the file size is around 30 MB. Fine. If I put 10 such things, the file size would automatically become 300 MB, right? So if you are trying to render 300 MB, it will take that much time. So how you can reduce this? That is where the proxy comes into play. I am just copying this so as to show you what is the potential of proxy. Okay, now what I am going to do is I am going to take, for proxy to get activated, you need the object to be in a group. Okay, this is already in a group or a component. And then what you need to do is the second option, that is export proxy. If you click, you will get some such a dialog box. Okay, in this you can see the first thing, that is the file path. So this is the place where the proxy is gonna get saved. Okay, so if you select save file, I'm just saving it into the desktop, and then okay, I'm saving it like this. Okay, and then you can see there are something like preview types, a refined cluster, phase skip, vertex cluster. So if you reduce this, what happens is that the number of phases or the number of vertices in this, or or any, and then if you could see that, if you zoom in, you can see there are number of faces onto this. Okay, which is being created, a sort of mesh is being created so as to create it. Okay, so this will reduce the number of faces that is there. Now if I am keeping it to 1000 or 2000 or so, and then exporting it, you can see that this will change into something like this. Okay, so you will just get scared that will something happen to this if I render this. Okay, so there, this is what the proxy does. Okay, now if I go and do a test render, okay, you can see that the same, the both the things look same, but one is a file of a reduced faces with reduced reduced amount. Okay, amount of faces and reduced file size. Okay, this is something really helpful when coming on to placing substance. Like you have a 2000 chairs in an auditorium, if you want to place 2000 chairs, you can make one a proxy and basically copy everything. Okay, so now the file size will be really less. So if I'm copying this, means you can see that this will fastly get rendered rather than copying this, which will take more time. Okay, and the file size will be also less comparatively. So this would be really good for helpful in the places of doing chairs or furnitures layout. Second, where you can basically do for trees. Third, place where you can do is if you want to have vehicles. Okay, lot of number of cars are to be done, cars which are models which are lot of faces are there. You can basically keep a proxy of one and then copy paste it. Got it? So this is where this proxy comes into play. Fine, I am just skipping the render, and now I am going to the left side and clicking this. If you could see, there is a third option, that is a geometry. If you click on the geometry, you will see the proxy. Okay, so here there are different type of proxy preview. You can see preview type, wherein which there are different types of proxy preview. One is the normal proxy preview that you saw here. Then there is a whole mesh which will basically show you the entire structure. It will take a little time. Okay, entire structure, but the face will be less. Okay, the third is a bounding box, which means that it will showcase in a box. Okay, show the proxy in a box setup. Okay, so as to understand the configuration or the setup of it. If I render this also, you can see that nothing is gonna happen. Only thing is it is gonna look the same. Okay, all the three things are gonna look the same itself. There is no changes that is gonna occur. Only thing is it is just a representation of it. Okay, the proxy types. And then there's a point thing which will basically have just 3 points across, showcasing the positioning where the proxy is set up. Fine. So that is what this proxy does. I'm just keeping it as proxy preview. And then there are some options known as materials. This is that whenever you make a proxy, what happens is that the materials that is being made for the first setup will get shown here. Okay, so now you have a wooden frame as well as some grass material out here. So if you want to change it, you can change the material out here with the help of the material out here. Material, there is a material settings on the top. You can go to materials. From here materials, you can just select some grass, or there is something like there is wood is there, wood and lamination is there. I just want to change the wood. Okay, wood material, I'm just taking it to something like this. I'm just placing it. Okay, I've already told you how to place a material. Similarly, you can drag and drop it and then go to the component, and you can just select from here. Okay, the color, you can, instead of the color, you can just select the all the materials which are available on the palette of materials will get shown here. Okay, from here you can select the material, that is lamination, which I was using. You can select that and then give the test render and check. So you can see that the material just gets changed. Okay, so this is now a laminated, the wood is being changed. Okay, the normal one to a laminated view. Cool. So this is what you guys can do. You guys can change the other material as well, and you can play with it. So this is a really good one. If you I'll tell everyone to use proxy, because most of the time people will start rendering with simply exporting models from the warehouse and just keeping it. So this will basically increase your file size, load to the computer, crashing happens a lot of time. So use proxies so as to get a easier render. Okay, and faster render. Cool. Any doubts for proxy? This is really important. Okay, that's why if you want, I can repeat it. How many you can when creating the proxy, you can reduce it to 0 also, it's fine. Like it will create the same amount of render. Cool. But you're not able to see this one. That's the problem. No doubts. Okay, that's good. Cool. I'm just deleting all three now. Now I am going to apply something called as fur. Okay, this option, that is add fur to selection. So fur is a option that helps us in giving textile fibers or grass like appearance to your uh, surface, to any surface. Okay, so for that to happen, you first require a flat surface. So first you need, I'm just using a rectangle tool so as to create a flat surface out here. I'm just created a flat surface. Now you can see there is two colors which will come when you basically make a rectangle. One is a gray side and the other one is a white side. To fur to get applied, the most important thing is that it can only get applied on the white surface. Okay, so first thing that you need to make sure is that the top surface is white in color. So for that to happen, just select it, left click, there is an option called reverse face. If you reverse face, you can see it becomes white in color. So that is the first thing that needs to be done when you are basically putting a fur type material. If any surface, it should be first white in color. Okay. And then what you need to do is double click it and make it a group. That is the second thing. First thing is white surface. Second is make it a group or group. Then select it. Then you can basically add fur to the selection. If you click it, you can see that in geometry there comes an option called fur, and on the surface something like this gets appeared. Okay, so if I give the render now, you can see that there is a setup like this coming up. That is a grass like material coming up. Cool. Now, with the help of the site advanced selections, we can create small changes to this. First thing, sometimes this will be off. Okay, if it is off, you will only see plain surface. Cool. If you want the fur to be activated on this, okay, enable this, then only you will see this. Then there is an option called distribution out here. Distribution could be per area and per face. Okay, per face means whichever number of faces are there, that will get rendered according to the count out here. Okay, count of the area. So if I make it face means you will see only few numbers of it. If I'm making it per area, you can see it is approximately 0.6% of the area is now becoming with the fur. You can increase it so that the effect basically increases. Okay, the fur basically gets increased. Then there is an option called make sure everything is ticked. Okay, if it is not ticked also, this problem that you will not get the proper materials, you not get the proper effect. Okay, and then you have the option called length. Length is nothing but the thread that is coming out. If you want to increase the length of it, what you need to the thread's length, you can basically increase it with the help of this. You can increase it to 5 meters, 6 meters. You can basically increase it how much you can. You can see that it starts growing as you basically increase it. Fine. So that is what it means. Then we have the thickness. If I zoom in, you can see that if I increase the thickness, the fibers thickness also gets increased. You can adjust this. These are really good feature only available in Vray. Okay, rest render softwares, it is really difficult to control these stuffs. And then we have something called the tapering. Tapering is nothing but the end of your thread basically should be sharp. That is the meaning. That becomes a conical in shape. So out here, if you reduce the tapering, you will see that this will change into rectangle. Okay, if you increase it, you can see that, sorry, I increase something. Oh, okay, sorry, I increase the thickness. That's why. Okay, now if I'm increasing the tapering, you can see that the fibers at the end of it gets really sharp. Got it? So that is what. The next is the gravity and the bend. So gravity and bend basically helps you to curve the thread. Okay, it means that the thread will start falling off. Okay, if I'm increasing it, you will understand. When I'm increasing the gravity, you can see that it is becoming straight. If you reduce it, you can see that it becomes more curved. Similarly, the bend, if I'm increasing, it will start bending more. If I reduce it, you can see that it becomes sharp and it starts looking like a grass. Okay, like a wheat field or so, it starts looking like that. Fine. So that is the ability that it helps you. Then you have global scale. Okay, global scale is nothing but the intensity or the big the how much big it looks like. Okay, it's nothing but the scale. If you increase it, the scale of it will basically increase, and if you reduce it, it will become smaller. That's it. Okay, if you really big, it will become, if you basically increase it. That's it. And then there is an option called note. So note is that from a from a point how many threads are basically rising. Okay, for example, if I stop the render, so if there is a point here and you are having a arc, okay, so this is a point, just think that this is a point. Okay, so this is one node. If you want, if you are having a second coming like this, means that from this knot there is two. If there is again one more, means that from a single knot you have three. Got it? That is the meaning of this knot. So how now it is five. That means from a single point there will be five threads rising. So that is the meaning of the knot. If I'm giving a test render, you can see that here it is from a single point, five threads are rising. You can increase it so that the number you could also get increased. Okay, so you can try that. Then if you want to apply a material onto this fur, so what you need to do is check this box. Okay, then it will show the materials that are available in this asset. Okay, from here whatever materials are available will be shown here as well. So you need to select it. Now I'm just selecting gray dark green, which is nothing but the grass type material. Okay, I'm just selecting it. So you can see that it now gets applied with this. Okay, so if you want more originality, what you need to do is you just need to color this also with the same. Okay, so that both the thread as well as the surface is the same in color. Okay, that is one thing that you guys need to do. You can also change this into textures like the carpet. You can use this for carpet material. You can use this for grass material. You can there are lot many options. Like if you want to have a carpet that is being laid down, you can use this for that as well. Okay, so yeah, this was for today's class. Any doubts?